thread, silver thread that goes from life to life, but it's the same thing. Or in some philosophy, it's the ego. But that's the spiritual ego, not the human ego we're talking about here. And it says here, can the consciousness of my terrestrial egos perish not only for a time like the consciousness of the materialist, but in any case so entirely as to leave no trace behind? According to the wisdom teaching, it must so perish in its fullness, all except that principle which, having united itself with the monad, has thereby become a purely spiritual and indestructible essence, one with it in eternity. But in the case of an out-and-out materialist, whose personal I nobody has ever reflected itself, how can the latter carry away into the infinitudes one particle of that terrestrial personality? This student asks the same question, that this Tunjai Denzler is going to disappear from the view. What is left of me is what I wanted to know, and I found the answer in this article, and it is applicable to all of us. Well, and the flower, the terrestrial I, the flower, as all past and future flowers which blossomed and died, will blossom again on the mother bough, the Sutratma, which is this thread or the spiritual ego. All children of one root of Buddhi, the spiritual soul, will return to dust. Your present I, as you yourself know, is not the body now sitting before me, nor yet is it what I would call Manas Sutratma, but Sutratma Buddhi. So anything that I do, anything that I say, anything that I think, which is in line with my spiritual soul, is incorporated into that thread. But everything else drops because it's not of its nature. It can only retain, through all of the experiences that we go through in that particular lifetime, that is similar to its nature. That's the rule. Your spiritual I is immortal, but from your present self it can carry away into afterlife but that which has become worthy of immortality, namely the aroma alone of the flower that has not been mown down by death. What a beautiful expression. The flower, as all past and future flowers which blossomed and died, and will blossom again on the mother bough, the Sutratma, all children of one root of Buddhi will return to dust. Your present I, as you yourself know, is Sutratma Buddhi. But this does not explain to me all why you call life after death immortal, infinite and real, and the terrestrial life a simple phantom or illusion. No doubt, the spiritual ego of man moves in eternity like a pendulum between the hours of life and death. But if these hours, making the periods of terrestrial and spiritual life, are limited in their duration, and if the very number of such stages in eternity between sleep and awakening, illusion and reality, has its beginning and its end, on the other hand, the spiritual pilgrim is eternal. Therefore are the hours of his post-mortem life, when disembodied he stands face to face with truth, and not the mirages of his transitory earthly existences during the period of that pilgrimage which we call the cycle of rebirth. It's very interesting. So, we said that the monad, this monad here, including manas, which is the divine mind, then is the immortal part of us. So, if we know that we're immortal and we coordinate our effort in that direction, we can realize our immortality as we live in that physical body. We will be of the earth. We will live in the physical world, but we will not be of it, because we are self-chosen, and those who wish to stand up and be counted in the army of the voice can do so. Thank you. Questions? Yes?
If I am who you say I am, why do I occupy myself so much with material gain, with dismissing my ability to do things to some higher thing? On Sundays, maybe go to church, the preacher takes care of whatever, and the guy in the sky takes care of the rest. So, and I continue on this treadmill, on this physical side. You're saying there's no difference between matter and spirit, yet I always thought there was, because of my conditioning.
What's your question?
I guess my question is, why what do I have to do? I guess I have to recondition my thinking. Go back to what Plato said rather than what Aristotle says.
So your question is, if I'm immortal, why don't I perceive it?
Yes.
Because
I perceive it intuitively, but I don't act on it.
Well, that's your choice, isn't it? We just said that Krishna conducts this philosophical discussion with Arjuna. Who's Krishna? Your higher self. Who's Arjuna? Your personality. And at the end he doesn't say, do as I say. He says, do as you wish. Because that choice, the choice of freedom, is given to each human soul. And that is how we grow. Because if they were to tell us what to do, what would we have learned? It is our errors that enable us to correct our mistakes and become better at living life, is it not? It is human to err, so we make mistakes. But we said the personality, and I'll just put there person versus individuality, which is I am I, that goes from life to life, is this dichotomy in human nature. One, personality, I should put this here, with the desires and passions pull downward because they're personal, down to personal life, which is what you have described. You say, I want to have more money, I want to be successful in business, want. Is that what was heard? So that's the desire. Personal wants. Okay? But this individuality is the one that goes from life to life. Its mission is altruistic because it knows it's part of the all. And it is willing to sacrifice itself for the all. But if the personality does not go along with it, you're blocking its inherent capacity to do its work. This is why it was suggested that we learn to incapacitate the lower mind and allow the divine mind to energize it, so that the work, the thought, the feeling would be in line with its inherent constitution. The inherent constitution is based on love, unity, oneness, because the core, the essence, is just that. This essence is representative of unity, love, brotherhood, and all those altruistic aspects of us. But if you choose not to follow it, which is your choice, then you're entitled to it. But what comes from that action, you're responsible for. Now, the religions have come up with this vicarious atonement, which does not exist in nature. There is no law, and the law is karma and reincarnation. And it's been taken out by the church fathers in the 1st and 2nd centuries of our era. This law then does not forgive. It gives you a chance to correct your error. And that is why we have to come back and learn to do it better. It does not forgive in the sense that I absolve you from all your responsibilities. That is vicarious atonement. There's no such thing in this law. This law is based on exact justice and even distribution of everything, because it shines on everything. It gives it to everyone. It doesn't say this part is dirty, I'm not shining on you. This part is low, I'm not shining on you. This part is too high, I'm not shining on you. It is disseminated evenly everywhere. It gives of itself equally to everything. What we do with it is our choice. But the law does not forgive. It only provides another opportunity for you to correct your mistake. And a lot of people say, but why does this thing keep coming back at me? It's the same thing in a different situation. Because you haven't learned the lesson, so it will come to you until you do so. And that's the rule. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's at the end of the cycle of birth and death?
I'm sorry?
What's at the end of the cycle of birth and death?
What is at the end of the cycle of births and deaths? Since we are immortal, what is the highest we can achieve is what the question is.
Yeah.
What is it? Perfectibility. Perfectibility. What is perfectibility? Emancipation. What is emancipation? Living on a higher field operation, but not in a body. Those who are perfected human beings, the brotherhood that brought this knowledge out to us at the end of the 19th century through HPB, are such perfected beings. Buddha also, with his arhat. Arhats are such beings. And it is stated that in one of the lamaseries, all of the lamas gather together for the appearance of Tsongkhapa, and he appears out of a cloud as a droplet of light, shines on the lamassery, and then withdraws again. So what does that tell us? We're light energy. That soul, that the spirit in us is like light. And once you become one with it, then your responsibilities towards what you want to do with it change. But this is the highest we can go toward, and it is achieved in the stages. It's not a one-step road. Yes.
Human is not the end. There's thousands of more beings above him.
And you said not in a body, but the emancipating beings do operate in a body as well.
Not the physical. I meant the physical body.
Christ and Buddhas and so forth.
Yeah.
They may be recognized as a person in a body to the masses.
They synthesize their bodies from the Akashic in themselves, and they live either in a physical body if they have a work to do here, like Jesus and Apollonius of Tyana, Paracelsus, all those who came, and those the teachers also had bodies because they intermingled with the people of India at that time. But most of them are called what? Bodhisattvas. They synthesize their own invisible bodies from the Akasha, which is themselves, and then they live in the invisible part of the astral world to influence humanity unknowingly. Because they are able to channel the forces, energies of the universe in a beneficent way, which is light energy. Thank you for that correction.
Can I make an announcement? There is on the program for next week, it's a misprint, it's Compositions of Psychology.
Yeah, we
Oh,
are.
you did that? Okay. Just wanted to make
We
sure.
are.
That was okay.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if there are no questions, thank you.